500 years ago, during the Age of Despair, humanity teetered on the brink of extinction. To save the world from total collapse, four great heroes rose to face Erebos, the genesis of evil. They were Luna, the elven archmage, known as the Poet of Stars; Tweno, the dwarven master smith, hailed as the divine blacksmith; Eren, the beastman warrior, celebrated for his bravery; Licinus, the wise king of the dragons. In their final battle, Kyle, a young warrior, tried desperately to save Licinus. The dragon, however, insisted that Kyle take his heart and push forward. Kyle refused, determined to heal him. Licinus, with a faint smile, reminded Kyle of their first meeting and their shared promise to save the world. Gritting his teeth, Kyle replied, refusing to give up. In his final moments, Licinus apologized for leaving everything in Kyle's hands. His death, along with the sacrifices of the other heroes, ignited an unrelenting rage within Kyle. Standing amidst the ruins, he vowed, "No matter what, even if my body burns to ashes, I will consume Erebus' soul." Kyle became known as the hero of the beginning. However, history was not kind to him. After he defeated Erebos, his name was erased from the records. Now, in the present day, a child with pure white hair named Leo listens to stories about the four great heroes as his mother reads to him. Kyle's fiery spirit lingers within Leo, for Leo is Kyle reincarnated. Although he hides this truth, he remembers everything. At the Royal School of Dellen, the teacher spoke about the current era, known as the Age of Heroes. He announced that their school had been selected to host the prestigious Lumine entrance examination. The teacher encouraged his students, expressing confidence that one of them might become a hero. In the back of the classroom, Leo was asleep. When the teacher called on him, Leo's response was disappointing, causing frustration. No one knew that Leo, the hero of the beginning, already possessed knowledge far beyond their comprehension. Reflecting on the past, Leo mused about how meeting gods once felt like a casual occurrence. He silently disagreed with the so-called holy ritual, a miracle gifted by the gods to honor the great heroes who fought Erebos, a tradition enshrined in the hero record. Leo questioned why he alone was treated as though he never existed. Suddenly, a commotion broke out among the students. They had spotted the emblem of the prestigious Zerdinger clan, and Celia Zerdinger herself appeared. Before they could react further, an announcement interrupted the chaos, revealing that the Zerdinger clan would be visiting. One of Leo's classmates taunted him, asking if he wanted to be noticed by the Zerdingers. Leo dismissed the comment, saying he had no interest in such things. His blunt response left his classmate in shock. As Leo walked alone, he contemplated his current state. He muttered to himself about how diligent training had made his new body superior to his previous one. Just then, a voice interrupted his thoughts. "What has you thinking so hard?" Leo turned in surprise, only to see an adult woman holding a sword, ready to attack. He blocked her strike effortlessly. "Ambushing me out of the blue?" he asked. The woman smirked. "It's been a while since we sparred. Lackluster talent won't cut it for Lumine. This is your final test, Leo." The two engaged in a fierce duel. The woman, who was none other than Leo's mother, unleashed a powerful attack, confident that Leo couldn't dodge it. But he proved her wrong, countering with a skillful move that left her shocked and defeated. As she stood, she asked if Leo still intended to attend Lumine, the prestigious human hero academy. Among the academies of the four races, Lumine housed the hero record, which Leo believed might hold the truth about his erased history. Of course, Leo replied confidently. His mother then mentioned that members of the Zerdinger clan were visiting Dellen and would be staying at their mansion. To this, Leo responded with determination. She then mentioned that she personally didn't want to interfere, and added that she would ask Zeis for a favor, since he is their vice patriarch. She also said that Zeis might teach Leo the Zerdinger aura technique. With that, Leo would become strong enough to be admitted to Lumine next year. However, his mother was unaware that Leo planned to get admitted this year. Meanwhile, in Leo's mansion, knights were rallying. Among them was a girl named Celia Zerdinger, renowned as the Sword Princess, due to her exceptional swordsmanship. Celia wanted to focus on Lumine's entrance examination, but wondered why they were visiting such a small family. A man called out to her, asking if she was curious about Leo the boy who claimed he wasn't interested in the Zerdinger clan. The man was Zeis, the vice patriarch of the Zerdinger clan. Celia responded skeptically, saying that if Leo was just a knight hopeful who couldn't even use aura yet, he probably wasn't very impressive. As the two families met and greeted each other, it was revealed that Leo's mother's name was Raina Plov, and his father's name was Dade Plov. Zis then asked Celia to introduce herself. She complied, introducing herself respectfully and elegantly. Celia was shocked when she noticed a resemblance between Leo's mother and her own lineage. Zis then revealed that Raina was Celia's aunt. A moment later, Raina and Zis engaged in conversation. Raina apologized for what Leo had said about the Zerdinger clan. Zis asked her what kind of person Leo was. Raina replied that Leo possessed unbelievable talent. Zis then asked if Leo was worthy of inheriting the flames of Zerdinger. Raina confidently replied that, while she might be biased as his mother, she truly believed Leo was worthy. Zis decided he wanted to test Leo himself. Elsewhere, Leo was training alone in a cross-legged position when a glow appeared in his right hand. He murmured to himself that he finally had a vessel capable of holding immense power. He explained that he hadn't learned aura yet, because once a person accepts aura, their body naturally becomes specialized to match that aura, and the opportunity to accumulate mana and soul energy disappears. Leo reflected on his past life, but failed to leave behind a stable legacy. This time, he vowed to perfectly control it, starting with aura. As Leo was deep in thought, someone suddenly asked if he was Leo Plov. He looked up to see a girl standing before him. She introduced herself as Celia Zerdinger, also known as the Sword Princess, and stated that she would personally guide him in swordsmanship. Leo stood up and said he had no interest in receiving guidance from someone with lesser skills. Shocked, Celia suggested sparring with pure swordsmanship instead. Leo agreed, and Celia proposed a bet. If she won, Leo would become her servant during her stay at the mansion. If she lost, she would serve Leo. The sparring began with Leo launching the first attack, which Celia blocked. Impressed by his speed, she counterattacked, but Leo was faster, causing their swords to clash. Leo's sheer strength overwhelmed her, and the ground cracked from the impact of his sword. Celia jumped back, but she was too slow. Leo had already launched another attack. Unable to block it, Celia instinctively activated her aura armor. Leo frowned and asked, "Wasn't this supposed to be a sparring match purely of swordsmanship?" Flustered, Celia claimed it was just a reflex. Leo replied, "It doesn't matter. I'll win either way." His confidence stunned her. She retorted that controlling aura was as different as heaven and earth, to which Leo coolly responded, "Shall we test that then?" Celia was shocked when Leo removed a magic weight bracelet from his wrist. He launched another attack, shattering her aura armor. After the spar, Zis and Raina were walking together when Raina suddenly spotted Leo. She asked Leo introduced himself to Zis, the vice patriarch of the Zerdinger clan. Raina then asked Leo if he had seen Celia. Suddenly, a guard appeared carrying Celia on a stretcher. Zis questioned the guard about what had happened to her. After hearing the explanation, Zis wondered if Leo had truly defeated Celia, despite not having mastered aura techniques. Impressed, Zis praised Leo for his victory. Leo responded by saying that Celia had underestimated him. Zis then inquired about the terms of their wager. Leo explained that Celia had agreed to become his personal maid during their stay. However, Zis objected, stating that Celia, as a member of the Zerdinger clan, could not be ordered to do a maid's work. Zis hoped Leo would invalidate the wager, offering him a reward instead. But Leo refused, leaving Zis speechless. Leo explained his reasoning, and Zis offered him the Zerdinger aura breathing method as compensation. However, Leo declined, stating, an aura method given with the sole purpose of preventing a niece from being humiliated holds no value. Zis, speaking in a serious tone, confirmed whether Leo truly believed the Zerdinger clan's aura breathing method was worthless. Leo firmly replied, yes. The conversation continued, with Leo clarifying that he meant no disrespect toward the Zerdingers. He stated that even if Celia and he had fought on equal terms, he would have still won. In response, Zis instructed the guards to take Celia to the maid's quarters. After Leo left, Zis resolved to ask his brother to teach Leo the Phoenix breathing method. Later, Celia entered Leo's room wearing a maid's outfit, clearly embarrassed. Leo teased her, which irritated Celia. In the midst of their banter, Leo mentioned a friend who used to admire beauty excessively and often ended up getting scolded by Luna and Licinus. Celia noticed the book Leo was holding and asked about it. It was the book of the beginning. They talked about the great hero of the beginning, Kyle. While Leo praised Kyle, Celia dismissed him as a scammer who had tried to claim another hero's achievements. Ignoring her remark, Leo suggested they train together. During their training, Leo pointed out the areas where Celia was lacking. Celia doubted his methods, remarking that modern training focused too much on aura rather than physical strength. Frustrated, she launched an attack, shouting that Leo should not underestimate her. However, Leo easily countered, sending her flying. She asked why she couldn't win. In response, Leo handed her a magic weight bracelet, instructing her to wear it from the next day, smirking mischievously. While Celia trained, Zis observed, remarking that the experience would be good for her. Later, Zis approached Leo, offering to teach him the Phoenix breathing method, a technique exclusive to the Zerdinger clan. Celia objected, saying her father would never allow it. Zis proposed a condition. If Leo passed the Lumine Academy entrance exam, he could inherit the technique. Leo agreed. The next day, Leo and Celia arrived at the academy. Gullivan, one of Leo's classmates, introduced himself to Celia, but she ignored him. Moments later, the Llewellyn siblings called out to Celia. They dismissed Leo as a small fry and walked away. Soon after, the examiner, Albie, one of the current era's heroes, briefed the candidates about the test. However, instead of following the usual procedure, Albie opened the Book of Heroes record. This artifact could manifest the hero's world, containing the experiences of past heroes. Those who entered this world could inherit a hero's power. However, the risks were real. Death in this world was permanent. The students found themselves in the hero's world. While Leo was pondering his strategy, he was suddenly attacked by a magic arrow from one of the Llewellyn siblings. The girl confidently declared her intent to eliminate him, mistakenly believing he was part of the Zerdinger family due to his association with Celia. Leo corrected her, stating he belonged to the Plov family, but she refused to believe him. The two engaged in battle. Despite the girl's powerful magic, Leo easily countered her attacks without using aura. Irritated by his criticism of her techniques, she launched a barrage of spells, but Leo disappeared from her sight. By the time she noticed, Leo was already next to her. Overwhelmed, she fell to her knees, and Leo tied her up. Grinning mischievously after regaining consciousness, the girl continued to resist cooperation. Leo restricted her magic with a spell and threatened her, forcing her to swear allegiance. Meanwhile, Albie monitored the remarkable students, including Abel, Celia, and Leo, remarking that Leo was an unexpected dark horse. While hunting monsters, the girl questioned Leo about his lack of aura. He explained that building a solid foundation was more important than relying solely on aura. Suddenly, Leo noticed something strange and deduced how to pass the exam. Moments later, he was attacked by other candidates but swiftly subdued them. Eventually, Leo and Celia regrouped. He proposed that all the students work together to defeat the hero's world. Suddenly, a spider-like monster appeared, devouring the mastermind behind the earlier attack on Leo. The students launched an assault, but their attacks barely harmed the creature. Leo identified it as the Queen of Tartarus, a monster from Erebus's army that once raised the elf forest. He revealed its regenerative abilities made it nearly invincible. As the students' morale wavered, Leo devised a plan, convincing Abel to cooperate. Together, they prepared for the final confrontation with the Queen of Tartarus. The battle's outcome would determine not only their survival, but also their futures at Lumine Academy. They planned on using Celia and Abel to launch a powerful spell, but it took time to charge. Leo suggested that he would hold the monster down. Everyone was shocked by Leo's statement, telling him that it was suicide. But Leo assured them that he could at least hold the monster down for 5 minutes. Chelsea doubted him at first, asking what if the attack failed. Leo reassured her, saying that wind and fire were friends and had a good combination. Leo and the monster faced each other. Leo launched an attack towards the monster's leg and face. Other students were surprised by Leo's skill. After a while, Leo asked Chelsea to send weapons flying towards the monster. Chelsea hesitated, worried that Leo might get hit with this plan, but Leo told her to do it anyway. Leo then jumped upwards, knowing which weapon would fly towards him by its sound. He caught 2 weapons, a scimitar and a blade. Leo repeatedly attacked the monster's legs. When the weapons broke, he simply asked Chelsea to send more. Chelsea watched and eyed Leo's skill, remarking that it was like watching a martial god in action. When the weapon broke again, Leo shouted for Chelsea to send more, but unfortunately, that was the last weapon. Just as the monster was about to attack Leo, Celia shouted that the spell was ready. Leo moved out of the way, and Celia launched her powerful spell, a massive spiral of fire that hit the monster directly, burning it to a crisp. The monster was defeated, and the students celebrated. Celia couldn't believe that Leo had fought the monster for 5 minutes. Chelsea was amazed, saying that Leo looked like a hero from the stories and that she wanted him to teach her. Celia grinned and said she hoped Chelsea could experience the kind of training Leo undergoes. Leo then picked up a ring that the boss monster had dropped. The ring glowed, and a fairy appeared. Leo recognized the fairy as Prince Silid. After a while, the world broke apart, and Leo was shocked when he saw something that pulled him back to the real world. Alyan Bedian, a swordsman and the principal of Lumine Academy. His assistant was irritated, as Albie, who was in charge of the examination, was very strict, which is why only 40 students passed. Back at the examination area, Albie recommended Leo as the freshman representative. The principal looked forward to meeting Leo, as Albie had spoken highly of him. At the mansion, Leo rested, thinking about the reward he had received the Fairy King's pledge. Leo's mother came to him and told him the reason she had lost the flames of Zerdinger. She explained that it was because she had saved her comrades in the past, and she had never regretted that decision. She then congratulated Leo on passing the entrance exam. The next day, Leo went to the city of Lemuria, where he was greeted by Zis, the vice-patriarch of the Zerdinger clan. Zis told Leo that they had debated whether to let him inherit the phoenix breath. But after hearing that Leo had passed the exam, they had no choice but to allow him to inherit it. Zis gave Leo a subspace key, inside which was a book. Zis instructed Leo to drop a tiny bit of blood on the book. Once Leo did, the book glowed and text was carved into it. Zis told Leo that he was the only one who could read the book, which contained instructions on how to learn the phoenix breath. Later, Leo arrived at the meeting place Celia had told him about, but an unknown girl bumped into him in a rush. She didn't realize that she had left her ID behind, so Leo picked it up. The girl was Chloe Mueller, a freshman at Lumine Academy. Leo then went to the store where Celia was. She was in a rush, saying they had too many things to buy for the upcoming entrance ceremony at Lumine Academy. Leo told her he had inherited the phoenix breath of the Zerdinger family and demonstrated it in front of her. Celia was shocked, as it hadn't been long since Leo had obtained it. She fell to the ground, stunned by what she saw. At the docks, where the students were supposed to gather, Leo and Celia were greeted by Ain Alandia, a professor at Lumine Academy in charge of the freshman night's class. The students then departed for Lumine Academy. While Leo and Celia were looking around, a student called them a couple. This irritated Celia. The student's name was Carr Thomas, an alchemist, and he handed Leo and Celia a card, telling them to visit his place, where they sold weapons and potions. Leo found the peaceful ride strange, but Carr Thomas assured him it was normal. Suddenly, a huge tentacle shot out of the water, striking the ship. The students asked for the professor's help, but the professor told them that, as students of Lumine Academy, they had to overcome it themselves. One of the students was caught by the kraken, but Leo and Celia cut off the tentacle. Another student was amazed by Leo's display of skill while dealing with the kraken. Chloe Mueller, who specialized in ice magic, froze one of the kraken's tentacles. The Llewellyn siblings also joined in, cutting the kraken's massive tentacles. The professor observed, noting that the captains from each region were standing out. Chen Xia from the east, Celia Zerdinger and Abad Llewellyn from the west, Chloe Mueller from the north, Walden Thaden from the south, and Duran Moira from the central region. The professor was particularly focused on Leo, impressed by his swordsmanship and how he seemed to predict the kraken's next attack. After the fight, they arrived at Lumine Academy. The professor told the students to line up, with the top scorers in the front row. The principal gave them some encouragement before breaking the podium. Then came the speech by the freshman representative, Leo Plov. Leo's speech made some students jealous or dislike him, but when one of the professors asked about his goals as the freshman representative, Leo smiled and said, "If you want this spot, come and get it." These words shocked the other students, ending the welcoming speech. Leo headed to his room, thinking that the only thing he wanted from Lumine was his own hero record, or Kyle's hero record. In the cafeteria, while Leo was eating, a student named Duran Moira asked if what Leo had said during the speech was true. Leo ignored him and continued eating. Duran got angry, kicked the table, but Leo picked up his food, saying that wasting food was unforgivable. As the two had a battle of nerves, a professor intervened, warning them that fighting on the first day would result in punishment. Afterward, the students headed to the night department for their class. Leo and Duran entered the class, exhausted from the punishment, but still competing with each other mentally. The professor began the lesson, explaining magic energy, soul energy, and aura. He demonstrated how to apply aura to the legs in a move called Aura Step. The students practiced, and then the professor called Leo and Duran to have a running competition to settle their dispute. allowing them to use aura without any restrictions. Other students talked down about Leo, thinking he would be at a disadvantage since he didn't have any aura, but Leo always made the impossible possible. The race began, and Duran took the lead, using his aura. The students thought Leo had no chance, and only one person cheered for him. At the halfway point, Leo stepped off the track, utilizing the phoenix breath he had learned. He gathered a tremendous amount of force in his feet, causing the ground to collapse beneath him before leaping towards the finish line with incredible speed. Leo won the race. The students were amazed. While Leo showed sportsmanship, Duran ignored him. The professor, impressed by Leo's performance, thought that a new hero might finally be born. Leo then proceeded to the summoning class, where he met Chen Xia, another strong candidate who specialized in summoning spells. The two conversed, and Chen showed Leo the spirit she had contracted with. She then asked Leo to show his spirit, but Leo hadn't made a contract with any spirits yet. Chen watched Leo's match and was amazed. She expressed her desire to have a match with him in the future. There were only a few students in the summoning class. The students then noticed a black wyvern, and from it, a beautiful woman with white hair appeared. Her name was Yura Marin, their summoning class teacher. The students were mesmerized by how stunning their teacher was. Yura called her assistant to bring some griffins for the students to ride. One of the students complained that it was their first time handling a griffin, but Yura sternly told them that if they were unwilling to take on the challenge, they shouldn't attend her class in the future. Leo selected his griffin, and Chen asked him to be her partner, suggesting that she would hold the reins. Leo agreed. The students initially handled the griffins well, but Yura suddenly blew a whistle, causing the griffins to go out of control. Griffins were notoriously difficult to manage without making them submissive, and up to that point, they had only been obeying Yura, not the students. While the other students struggled, Leo and Chen managed to calm their griffin and make it fly steadily. Impressed, Yura remarked that Leo must have a griffin at his family's mansion. However, her assistant informed her that Leo didn't own one, leading Yura to conclude that it was pure talent that allowed Leo to control the griffin. The students arrived at the island of summons. As Leo looked around, he noticed an orange fruit accompanied by a feather. Meanwhile, Yura gathered the students to inform them that they would have a practical exam. The students complained, as they believed it was supposed to be a theoretical class. However, Yura explained that summoning magic required more than just mana control. To form a contract with a spirit, one needed spirit affinity, and to command summons, a strong, taming ability was essential. This explained why the number of summoner heroes was significantly lower compared to other classes. Eliza asked Yura about the details of the exam. Yura explained that the island was called Summoner Island due to the abundance of summons present there. The students ventured off on their own in search of summons. While many had already found their summons, Leo continued searching. He then picked up the feather he had seen earlier, which suddenly ignited with intense heat. Leo immediately realized that this summon was one of the three great summons, a phoenix. The phoenix spoke, revealing that it was a child of Zerdinger. It recognized Leo as the son of Raina, Leo's mother, who had saved the summoner of the phoenix long ago. The phoenix, named Firina, explained that Leo's mother had sacrificed the flames of Zerdinger to rescue her summoner. Grateful, Firina decided to repay the debt by allowing Leo to form a contract with her child, though she initially believed it was too early. However, Leo's determination impressed Firina, and she allowed him to proceed. Leo attempted the contract, enduring the phoenix's fiery pain, a continuous cycle of burning and regeneration. Despite the immense difficulty, Leo succeeded, and the phoenix egg hatched. The newly hatched phoenix was named Fiora. Farina congratulated Leo on his success. Back at the gathering area, other students proudly displayed their summons. Chen Xia had tamed an aqua bear. A white-haired student had tamed a shadow crow, and another tamed a gorgon snake. As the time limit approached, Leo arrived with Fiora perched on his head. Some students mocked him, calling the phoenix a mere chick. However, Yura immediately recognized the phoenix's significance and was shocked. She called Leo to a private meeting, expressing amazement that a freshman had tamed a phoenix. She hugged him, declaring him a genius and urging him to major in summoning. Later, Leo attended his magic division class with Professor Len Hors, who distributed test papers. Leo found the questions difficult, except for the final one, which he confidently answered before leaving. When the professor learned that Leo had answered only the final question, he became curious. Confronting Leo, the misunderstanding was cleared up, and the professor tested him further. Leo astounded everyone by solving all the advanced problems with ease, leaving Professor Len in awe. The story of Leo's talent spread, and professors from different disciplines vied for him to join their classes. The principal, watching the chaos, remarked that Leo reminded him of the hero of the beginning, Kyle, who mastered all classes. Meanwhile, Chelsea invited Leo to train with her, but she was surprised to discover he wasn't a true Zerdinger clan member. Despite her exhaustion from the intense training, Chelsea persisted. Leo, now assigned to the notorious Class 5, encountered Professor Herod Edmund, known as the Wailing Wall, for his harsh teaching methods. Herod tested the students by asking them to hit a spirit with their skills. While most struggled, Leo used the phoenix's breath to succeed, though another student, Duran Moira from Class 1, interfered. This ignited a rivalry between the two classes. Sejin then proposed a competition match between Class 1 and Class 5. The professor of Class 5 told his students that if they lost, all of them would be expelled. Leo was assigned as the captain and given the right to choose his teammates. The competition match began, and the members of Class 5 were nervous, except for Leo. Bastra is like a football game, but includes combat. Class 5 was at a disadvantage since Class 1 had many geniuses, including Chloe, Duran, and Celia. The game started, with Duran winning the jump ball. While the game was underway, Leo asked Tide to explain the rules, but Duran had already launched his attack, immediately scoring for Class 1. One of the members of Class 5 was hit by the ball and was immediately out of the game. Now it was Leo's team's turn. Sejin told the professor of Class 5 that they had no chance of winning. However, the professor responded that the son of the Empress of Bastra was in his class. This person was Leo. Leo then took the game seriously. He threw the ball toward the ring, but Chloe blocked it with her ice magic. However, Leo was already beside her. He punched the ball, breaking the ice barrier Chloe had created and scoring at the same time. Class 1 tried their hardest, but Leo overpowered them. He then used elf magic to get past all the members of Class 1, ending the game. One person was especially shocked. It was Chloe. She realized that Leo had used elf magic. The professor of Class 5 started celebrating and mocking Sejin. After the match, there was a commotion outside. Everyone remembered that today was the day their seniors were returning. From time to time, the fifth years raided dungeons. Leo's mother used to be one of the elite members of Lumine Academy. Currently, the person at the top of Lumine Academy was none other than Celia's older brother, Rise Zerdinger. The three of them, Leo, Rise, and Celia, started eating and having a conversation. Leo then asked Rise if he had met his mother. Rise told Leo about the legendary accomplishments of his mother and said that she was the strongest in Lumine during her time. When Rise stood up, The item he was holding started to glow. Back in the classroom, Leo was chosen as the representative of Class 5. The students were then called to gather. While Leo was heading to the gathering area, he saw Chloe with darkened eyes due to overworking herself. Leo wondered why she pushed herself so hard. His classmate explained that Chloe was a member of a magic tower, and her pride wouldn't allow her to accept being beaten by Leo twice. Meanwhile, Rise and the principal were discussing the fragment of the hero's page because it had reacted. The principal explained that a hero's fragment only reacts when one of the heroes comes into contact with it. Back at the joint class, Artian Nier, the professor in charge of classes 1 to 8, began the session. Artian had a shy personality, but suddenly turned into a devil, shouting at the students to keep quiet. The joint class had officially started. While everyone was focused on the lesson, Artian's assistant handed her something. Artian showed it to the students, explaining that it was a hero fragment. Before opening it, she asked the students about their goals. After others shared their answers, Leo stood up and declared that his only goal was to completely annihilate Erebos. His statement left all the students in shock. Some thought Leo was dreaming of something impossible, but Leo ignored them. The professor of Class 5 remarked that it was chilling, since Leo wasn't the type to speak in vain. The class continued, and the students were tasked with guessing which hero's page the fragment belonged to and learning how to clear it. The representatives of each class were asked to step forward. When Leo grabbed the hero's fragment, it suddenly glowed, leaving the professor in shock at what they had witnessed.